What's up, everyone? It's Tim from Garden State Koi, and thanks for tuning in again this week. We have Raphael, and he's unloading that MT100 out of the enclosed trailer, and I'm about to bring the excavator down the driveway. One thing I saw at the top of the driveway is this Fern Valley Lane, and you're gonna see why when we go check out the canvas for this waterfall. Check that out. That is why it's called Fern Valley Lane in New Paltz, New York. Tons of ferns around the area. We're gonna cut right through the middle of that and put a beautiful waterfall, maybe putting some outcrop boulders on each side as the waterfall comes through those ferns. We're trying to recreate nature in this backyard, and I'm sure my team and myself will get this job done, and it's gonna look absolutely awesome. Stay tuned.
Are you ready?
So let's take a closer look at this canvas we got here. Right in front of us here is going to be a beautiful patio area with some Adirondack chairs, and then there's going to be a beautiful waterfall right here. We're going to have a nice twisty and turny run through those ferns, and then a couple of drops up above. We'll be working with an Aquascape 9PL pump, so we should get around 6,000 gallons an hour coming down this waterfall. And then over here, we're going to have an awesome boulder. That was actually drilled out by the homeowner, Steve. He owns a fence company up here in New Paltz, but he actually drilled right through the center of that rock, and we're going to turn it into a fountain, and it's going to be right there. I've been up in the excavator removing a lot of rubble from the hillside, and as I've been scooping it down, Raphael's to my right-hand side right here, and he's moving it over into the dump truck with the MT100. The other guys are up there, Alicio and Felipe, and they're moving rubble rock, and that's where the upper waterfall is going to start. Once we get all this stuff cleared out of here to the truck, we're going to dump it over on the other side of the driveway. Then we can build a beautiful waterfall with some of those rocks that Gene and Steve have gathered throughout the property. So we got the hillside nice and clear. We're ready to put our topsoil in place to cushion out from all those rocks. Then we'll put some heavy duty rock pad down, and a 30 by 15 liner will go in here. The liner's a little extra long, but you need that because flipping liner back and forth as you're building, you definitely take up some of that liner, and you definitely don't want to be short at the end. Rock is going into place, and it is a spillway rock. That thing is absolutely beautiful. Check out all the moss and lichens. This is going to blend right into this hillside perfectly. We got 2 rocks already set in, and we're ready to start building this upper section of the waterfall. I actually got the rock picked out for there, the one for there, the one for there, and that's going to be a nice tall skinny spill falling out of the hillside into a little pooling area and then falling, cascading over this. Then it will run for a little bit, and we're going to have multiple drops right here in front of us before it falls into the basin. I cannot wait to see how this thing turns out. I think it might be one of the coolest waterfalls of the season. When you have a canvas like this, I said before, it's a really great time building a waterfall because it would actually belong here. And now they'll flip back that underliner, and we're gonna fill that pool area with some topsoil on the backside. Give a little more cushion for the upper waterfall rocks. And we got a couple of boulders to set up in here, but not too many. We want to keep it very simplistic, but it's going to be a nice tall drop. Once we get that soil in here, we'll flip all that back and start placing rock again. We're back at it, day 2 here up in New Paltz, New York, and I just want to go through a little recap of what we did yesterday here on the project on this beautiful Pondless Waterfall. Also, the homeowners went out and they went scavenging around and got us some beautiful rock because we needed a couple more just to finish it off. And then later on today, we're having Taco Tuesday because today is Tuesday and we haven't done that in a while, and we have some cecina tacos as well as some shrimp tacos. The guys are also starting off by grabbing a beautiful rock for the sheet stone that's going to go right there. That's going to be beautiful spill into a holding pool, and then right above that we're going to do a little waterfall using the Aquascape 22-inch spillway to start off the top of this pondless. Here comes that nice flat stone that they found up on the hillside. We think it's going to fit in place, but you never know until you try. We'll position it a couple of ways. I think this will be a nice sharp front edge, and Ralphie just found this stone, so normally they come out pretty perfect. So we're at mid-afternoon on day 2 here, and we are just starting to dig out the basin. The upper level of the waterfall is done. We got one more drop coming down into this pondless basin here. We got to pull out all this soil, and what we're doing is loading the back of that excavator and dumping it over there in the distance. So we got our front grade set for the basin here, re-marked it back out, and now I can start actually digging the basin. We need to go down 26 inches from the bottom of the step on the house over there. That way when the patio goes in, the patio can pitch away from the foundation and towards the pondless basin. We do not want the patio or the pondless basin higher than the house and the water flowing that way. 26 inches is what we came up with. That'll allow for about 4 or 5 inches of gravel on top of the large aqua blocks. So we're back at it on day 3 here up in New Paltz, New York. The upper section of the waterfall is in, and yesterday afternoon we were able to get that basin down in there with those large aqua blocks. We have a couple of large rocks we'll be setting for the bottom waterfall. Hopefully later on this afternoon we're able to get in that bubbling rock into place. That'll be the last element of this waterfall, and that's gonna sit right over there behind me on the edge of the patio that'll eventually be going in here. And that's where that bubbling rock will go. Well, I'm working on setting a couple of large stones in the basin for this bottom waterfall. Raphael's up there, Delicio, and they're setting the top rocks around that spillway. They're adding some foam in there and getting that waterfall all sealed up, and then they'll be able to tuck the edges. We got a little tricky edge work to go here, a couple of different rocks, because right in between those two guys are some ball valves and some fittings for us to be able to drain the lines properly or test the lines in the future. Felipe is gonna put a piece of padding down there. We've been cutting 1.5 inch plumbing to get ready to stick it up in the middle of the rock, and then we'll be able to run it over to the pump vault where Raphael was hooking up the 2 pumps inside the pump vault. There's one 9PL, remember, going up top, and this is that Aquascape AquaSurge 2000 going over to the bubbling rock. It's finally the time to set that bubbling rock into place. Alessio has a strap on it. We're getting ready to hook it up and bring it over there. We just glued together the stand pipe, and that 1.5 inch flex pipe is glued to that 90 elbow right there to a solid piece of Schedule 40, which will actually sit right inside this rock. We're using 2 paver blocks to raise the rock up a little bit to be able to get the plumbing out. Then the plumbing will run over to that pump vault. We are back at it on the final day here to do a little bit of plantings on the outside with some of these ferns, tidy up some of the liner edges. It sure looks awesome. We have already ran it, little touch-ups here and there. Really proud of my guys yesterday. They finished up around the rocks over here. Ralphie got a lot of the edge tucked in over there. Up top is all finished, so they were really busy at it. Stay tuned because this thing looks awesome. Thanks for watching this episode on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to tune in next week for another vlog. And if you like what you saw here today, press that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell. It means a lot to me and my team here at Garden State Court. See you all next week. We're trying to recreate nature in this backyard, and we're trying to recreate, we're trying to recreate nature in this backyard, and